If you're over 60 and your erections are getting weaker, your energy feels drained before lunchtime, and you can't remember the last time you slept through the night, this message is for you. Because the real reason behind all of this might come down to just one simple thing your doctor never told you. Your body is missing a powerful herb that can restart what age has slowly shut down. One herb taken before bed. That's it. I am Dr. A, men's health specialist and professor of urology with over 30 years of experience helping men reclaim their strength, vitality, and confidence. And naturally, I've worked with thousands of men across the US, from CEOs to veterans. And I can tell you what you're about to learn isn't theory, it's real, it's proven. And it's helped countless men feel like themselves again. Most men believe they need testosterone shots, little blue pills, or to give up and accept that decline is normal. But what if that's wrong? What if instead your body is still fully capable? It's just missing the raw ingredients to function like it used to. That's where this one herb comes in. Not a synthetic drug, not a gimmick. A real plant used for centuries and scientifically shown to work with the aging male body. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how taking just one herb before bed can help restore firmer erections, give you more energy throughout the day, and help you fall into deeper, more rejuvenating sleep without changing your diet, your medication, or your entire life. And stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal the name of this herb, how to use it, and why it works especially well in men over 60. You've likely never heard this before, but once you do, you'll wonder why no one told you sooner. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and tap that button and turn on the bell so you never miss simple natural health tips made specifically for men over 60. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me make these videos better for you. Alright, now let's talk about why things have changed. If you've noticed weaker erections, low energy, and poor sleep creeping in after 60, it's not just aging. There's a deeper reason behind it. And understanding this first is the key to turning everything around. Let me explain. 1. Why erections? Why erections, energy, and sleep decline? After 60, energy, and sleep decline after 60. I've had men sit across from me in my office, eyes lowered, voices quieter than usual, and ask me the same question I've heard for over 3 decades. Doc, what's happening to me? They're not just talking about sex, though. That's usually where it starts. They're talking about feeling like a shadow of the man they once were. No energy, no spark, no restful sleep, and they often blame themselves. But here's what I tell them. It's not your fault. After 60, your body begins to shift in ways most men were never warned about. One of the biggest changes is a natural drop in testosterone. Sure, but that's only part of the story. What really begins to slip is something even more crucial. Nitric oxide production. You see, nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax, expand, and let blood flow freely, especially to areas like your heart, your brain, and yes, your penis. As nitric oxide declines, so do circulation. Erections become weaker or disappear altogether. Sleep becomes shallow and broken. Your energy fades by noon. And when you don't sleep well, your hormones crash even more. It's a vicious cycle. Most men assume this is just normal aging. But in truth, these symptoms are warning signs that your body's natural systems are slowing down due to a lack of support. Not because you're broken, but because your body needs help. I know how frustrating it is to feel this way, like you're slowly fading even while you're doing everything right. But what if I told you there's a way to interrupt that cycle? What if one simple natural step before bed could help your body start repairing overnight, improving your blood flow, your sleep, and your strength? That's exactly what we're going to uncover. Next, starting with a powerful herb you've likely never even heard of. 2. The real root cause. The real root cause. Nitric oxide and blood flow. Nitric oxide and blood flow. Over the years, I've come to realize something most doctors never fully explain to their patients. That testosterone isn't the magic switch for erections or energy. Don't get me wrong, it matters. But the real key, the one I keep coming back to again and again, is blood flow. And behind blood flow is one unsung hero, nitric oxide. I remember one patient, Richard, 64, who came to me saying he felt like his body just stopped cooperating. His libido had tanked, his erections were unpredictable at best, and he was exhausted, no matter how much he slept. But what struck me wasn't how unusual his story was. It was how common it had become. And most men like Richard have never even heard of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas your body produces naturally, and it plays a massive role in relaxing the inner muscles of your blood vessels. When those vessels relax, they widen and blood flows more freely. It's what allows blood to rush into the penis to create and maintain an erection. It's what keeps your brain sharp and your heart strong. And here's the kicker. After age 60, nitric oxide production can drop by up to 50%. That decline explains so much. Poor circulation, cold hands and feet, brain fog, erectile issues, and the worst part, without proper blood flow at night, your brain doesn't enter the deep stages of sleep where hormones are regulated and cells repair. It becomes a cycle. Weak blood flow leads to poor sleep, which leads to hormonal crashes, which leads to even weaker erections and lower energy. But here's the good news. Your body still wants to make nitric oxide. It just needs the right support. And as I'll show you. Next, there's one herb that naturally boosts nitric oxide in older men, especially when taken before bed. You've probably passed by it at the store without knowing what it can really do. But after you hear this, you'll never see it the same way again. The herb you've never heard of, but should use tonight. 3. The herb you've never heard of, but should use tonight. When I first started practicing medicine, I was trained to rely on prescriptions, pills, injections, patches. That's how we were taught to treat men with low energy, erectile issues, and sleep trouble. But over time, I began to notice something. Many of my older patients weren't getting better. They were just managing symptoms. That didn't sit right with me. So, I started digging into natural solutions, therapies that supported the body instead of forcing it, and that's when I came across a herb I'll never forget. It's called Tribulus terrestris, not a fancy name, not trendy like ginseng or ashwagandha. In fact, most men walk right past it in the health aisle without a second glance. But what this plant lacks in flash, it makes up for impure potency, especially for men over 60. Tribulus has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, especially in regions where male virility and endurance were highly prized. Modern science now shows that compounds in Tribulus, specifically saponins, can help stimulate luteinizing hormone, which supports your body's own testosterone production. But more importantly, it also enhances nitric oxide release. Sacral just talked about that means stronger blood flow, better circulation, and improved sexual response. I remember a man named Charles, 70 years old, a retired engineer. He wasn't interested in natural remedies until his sleep became so broken and his erection so unreliable that he finally said, "I'll try anything." I recommended just one change, Tribulus, before bed. Within 2 weeks, he called me and said, "Doc, I haven't slept that deeply or woken up that ready in years. But here's the thing. It's not just what you take that matters. It's when you take it. And that's where most men make the mistake. You see, there's a critical reason why this herb works best at night. And if you miss that window, you're missing out on everything it could do for you. Let me show you why timing changes everything, how it works in men over 60, the science. 4. How it works in men over 60, the science. When you're in your 30s or 40s, your body has reserves. Hormone levels are higher, blood flow is strong, and sleep comes easily. But after 60, those systems begin to slow down. That's just nature. But the beauty of nature is that it also gives us ways to support those sesame systems if we know how to use them right. And when it comes to Tribulus terrestris, the way it interacts with your aging biology is exactly why it works so well for men in this stage of life. I've walked this path with many patients, men who were skeptical at first. But when I show them the actual science of how this herb works, you can see the spark of hope return to their eyes. Because it's not about belief or hype, it's about physiology. Tribulus helps stimulate a signal in the brain called luteinizing hormone, which tells your testes to make more of your own natural testosterone. Not in excess, but just enough to start restoring balance. That alone is powerful, but it doesn't stop there. The herb also enhances nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme responsible for producing nitric oxide in your blood vessels. For a man over 60, that boost in nitric oxide is often the difference between a sluggish body and one that wakes up energized, between a restless night and deep restorative sleep. Blood flows more freely. Oxygen reaches your brain and muscles more efficiently. Your sexual response improves because the pathways are no longer restricted. I think of it like clearing a traffic jam on the freeway. The cars, your blood, can finally move. And once things are flowing again, everything else begins to work better too. But here's where it gets really interesting. The timing of when you take this herb can either unlock its full potential or waste it completely, and most men are taking it at the wrong time of day without even knowing it. In the next section, I'll explain why nighttime is the secret window your body has been waiting for. 5. Why timing matters. Why timing matters. Why you must take it before bed. Why you must take it before bed. One of the most common mistakes I see make even the ones who do their research and care about their health is taking the right supplement at the wrong time. And when that happens, you might still feel a little better, but you're not unlocking the real power that herb has to offer. With Tribulus terrestris, the timing isn't just a minor detail, it's the key. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, Robert, age 66. He had been taking Tribulus every morning for months. And while he noticed a small lift in energy, it didn't change his sleep. His erections were still inconsistent and he felt frustrated. I asked him a simple question. Have you ever tried taking it before bed? He looked surprised. Why would I do that? He asked. But he trusted me. And within a week of switching to nighttime dosing, everything changed. His sleep became deeper. His morning erections returned. And he said something I'll never forget. I feel like I reset. Here's why it works. Your body does most of its hormone production, tissue repair, and nitric oxide activity at night, especially between 1000 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's when testosterone pulses occur. It's when your brain clears waste and your muscles regenerate. It's the body's natural reset window. When you take Tribulus before bed, you're aligning its effects with the very systems that need it most. Right when they're doing their best work, you're not just adding something to your routine. You're supporting your body's overnight engine, giving it the exact fuel it's craving at the right time. That's why men who take this herb before bed often wake up feeling more refreshed, stronger, and yes, noticeably more responsive in the bedroom. Now, you might be wondering, is this just placebo? Is this just one man's story? Not at all. In fact, I've seen this transformation in dozens of men, and in the next part I'll share a few powerful stories that prove just how real this can be. 6. Real results from my patients, There's something powerful about seeing real change in real people. I can talk about science all day, and I love the data. But what really moves me are the moments when a man walks into my office looking lighter, more confident, and says, "Doc, I feel like myself again." That's what this is all about. Not numbers, not charts, but restoring dignity, strength, and joy to men who thought that chapter of life was over. Let me share one story that still sticks with me. His name was Harold, 71 years old, retired firefighter. He came to see me after struggling with poor sleep and no morning erections for nearly 3 years. He said, "I don't need to feel 25 again. I just want to feel alive." I put him on a simple plan. No complex changes, no risky drugs, just one thing. Tribulus terrestris before bed. That's it. After 10 days, Harold emailed me. "Doc, I slept through the night for the first time in months. And this morning, let's just say, I was shocked. In a good way. A few weeks later, he told me his wife noticed the difference before he did. More energy, more presence, more intimacy, and not from a pill that fades after a few hours, but from something that helped his body come back. Online naturally, and Harold isn't the only one. I've seen this happen with men from all walks of life, teachers, truck drivers, veterans, grandfathers. Once they understand how their body works and give it what it's been quietly asking for, things begin to shift. The light comes back. But of course, none of this works without the right approach. You have to know what to take, how to take it, and which forms are actually effective. Because not all supplements are created equal, and getting this part wrong can make all the difference. So in the next section, I'll walk you through exactly how to start using this herb safely, effectively, and with real results you can feel. 7. How to start tonight. How to start tonight. Safely and effectively, safely and effectively. If you've made it this far, it means something in this message has struck a chord. Maybe you've been feeling that quiet frustration, waking up tired, going to bed restless, feeling like your body is just a little more distant than it used to be. The good news is you now understand what's behind it. And even better, you have a clear next step. The key to starting with tribulus terrestris is choosing the right form, the right dose, and the right routine. This is not about throwing random supplements at the wall and hoping something sticks. You want a high-quality extract, specifically one that contains at least 40% saponins. That's the active compound that does the real work. The label should clearly state this, and the product should be GMP certified, which means it meets high standards for purity and safety. As for the dose, I typically recommend between 500 to 750 mg once daily, taken about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. That timing matters more than most men realize. Taking it at night aligns with your body's natural hormone rhythms and repair cycles. It supports the systems that help produce testosterone, promote a deeper sleep, and improve circulation, all while you rest. No complicated routine, just one capsule, one small commitment, and consistency matters. Don't expect fireworks on the first night. Think of it like watering dry soil. Your body needs time to absorb, respond, and begin functioning at its best again. Most men begin noticing deeper sleep and firmer erections within 7 to 10 days and continued improvements over 3 to 4 weeks. Start tonight. Take the herb, keep the routine simple, trust your body to respond because it wants to. And now that you know what to do, the only thing left is this. What happens when you finally give your body the chance to come back to life again? Let me leave you with one final thought that I believe every man over 60 needs to hear. Final thoughts from Dr. Kara 8. Final thoughts from Dr. Kara. After more than 3 decades working with men across the country, men who've built families, served communities, overcome hardship, I've come to understand something that's rarely said out loud. Aging doesn't mean losing who you are. It doesn't mean you have to surrender your strength, your energy, your desire, or your manhood. You don't have to settle for restless nights, fading erections, or that constant feeling of being just a little out of sync with yourself. You simply need to give your body the tools it no longer produces on its own, and trust that it still knows how to respond. We've talked about why erections, energy, and sleep decline after 60, and how nitric oxide, not just testosterone, plays a critical role. We uncovered the powerful herb tribulus terrestris and the science behind how it works, specifically for men your age. You've seen the importance of taking it before bed when your body is naturally rebuilding itself. You've heard the stories of men who took that first step and began to feel alive again. And now you know how to start tonight simply and safely. I've seen this herb change lives, not because it's magic, but because it works with your biology, not against it. And as a doctor, there's no greater satisfaction than watching a man regain his confidence, restore his energy, and show up more fully for his life and his loved ones. That's what I want for you. So here's my final word. Don't wait. Don't keep pushing through days that Feel dull and nights that feel empty. You don't need another prescription. You don't need to accept decline as your new normal. You just need one small action taken consistently to open the door back to the man you remember being, the man you still are. Start tonight. Your body is ready. It just needs your permission to begin.